Real true education, not fake news. It's the 3rd of May 2020 and it's 15D. We'll see what we get done in one. I hope I do. I'm here among the furze bushes, or whin bushes as we call them, and Oliver Goldsmith wrote a poem about the deserted village, and these have the most succulent sweet smell. This is a smell like no other, and it's not a strong smell. It's just enough to whet the nose. And if you could bottle this into a perfume, it's absolutely lovely, or something that you could put around the house. It is an unbelievable good smell. But he wrote about them being unprofitably gay in the poem, and they definitely are unprofitable. They're a nuisance, so there's a constant battle with them. So I'm going to turn off I'm going to pause the camera, and I'm going to show you the local Rara wind farm close up. And it's very, very bright sun. So as you can see there, they're producing nothing. There they are there. They're producing nothing. Right? And we just pause a minute now and get it back again. So we're back again now. Just pause to show you them. They're producing nothing. So the situation, the question is about Michael Moore's film, The Planet of the Humans, and there's a very big glare on my face here. It's hard to do. So, and the question is, why is the renewable energy not working? Why is it not working? And why will people not accept that it's not working? And as Mark Twain said, it's easier to fool people than get them to accept they have been fooled. And they have been fooled. Ask anyone that doesn't agree to say what percentage of wind energy and solar and renewables should be allowed into the grid. Now if you listen carefully, you'll hear a whine of that. So this is one of the impacts of it. A constant whine as it adjusts, done by a computer in Germany somewhere. So anyway, they'll say 100%, but the fact is that 65% is the most you can let into the Irish grid, and that's the case in all grids in the world. It becomes too unstable after that. You need the weight of the heavy rotors, and I can't promote enough my own videos. Val Martin Ireland, Real True Educational, Val Martin Ireland YouTube. Val Martin Ireland YouTube, Myth About Wind Energy, and it's clip 1, 1A and 1B, and they're about the practical, how electricity works, and I can't promote them enough for students or anything else. Now, so at the moment the demand for electricity is 3,965, and wind is producing 188 megawatts, which is very close to nothing. Now the capacity of all Irish wind farms is 3,600 megawatts and rising, right? And if we take 188 megawatts that they're producing at the moment and getting paid for, that leaves 3512 being supplied by fossil fuel, gas, coal and oil, right? And if you have solar energy and it's a dark day, you have the same situation. You might get a little bit from it today for a while, but at night you get nothing. So 3065 by 65% is 2,000 megawatts approximately. So today they're making nothing. And if it was a real windy day with the west wind coming strong, all they can sell is 2,000 megawatts out of 3,600. So either way they're caught. They can't sell it when there's no wind, and when there is wind they can't sell it all. They only sell 65%, and they're installing more and more. So that figure will leave quite a bit of it idle. There's 1,600 megawatts lying idle at the moment, right, on a windy day. 1,600 megawatts, or 35% on a windy day, and it's all lying idle at the moment, all but a little. Okay, so they're going to add a whole lot more to this. So obviously if you add more to it and the demand stays the same, there's going to be more lying idle, and they get paid according to how much of it they produce. Their accounts back several years shows all they're getting in output is 20% and less. 76% of that goes on costs. And the remainder goes in interest. And when they pay the interest, there's nearly nothing left to pay the principal. Generally speaking, the interest and the principal is paid in that way. Interest, principal. The principal goes up as you pay off the interest. But even with no interest at all, they can never pay the capital cost. It'll be 92 years till this wind farm pays off its €30 million cost. And there's a shortage of 230 million every year. And the parent companies carry them along. They forgive the debt on this. They keep them going. Now, the ESB in its report, and it's there for you to see, I've said it several times and people don't believe me, there's the actual report printed off. Okay. And it's impact of wind power generation in Ireland on the operation of the conventional plant and the economic implications of same, February 2004, published by ESB, the National Grid. Make sure any version of it you get is February 2004. Make sure that you have the right one. So there's the heading again. Okay, turn to page 24, and here you see this statement about wind. However, it is an unfortunate fact that the contribution to adequacy of additional amounts of wind decreases progressively and tends towards zero, a ZERO. Consequently, the incremental credit capacity of wind power generation tends towards zero. Tends towards zero. This is their own report, and they ought to know. They've been making it for 100 years. Now, here is a report here about all the ESB is investing, all Bord na Móna is investing, and indeed the national toll roads are main investors. And all of these make their money from using fossil fuel. And therefore Michael Moore's claim that the fossil fuel industry is promoting this is 100% correct. The narrative that they don't want wind energy, that they don't want solar, because it'll compete with their oil, is a complete and utter lie. Because they're the ones heavily investing in it, including Richard Branson, whose airplanes burn fossil fuel. So this is the hard fact. Why are they investing? And I've said this over 10 years ago. Because wind energy is not a threat to them at all. And they're afraid their promotion prospects with government will not be enhanced if they come out and tell the truth. Okay. I mean, Pat O'Doherty of the ESB recently said, he's the CEO, and they change these every couple of years. We're transforming Irish electricity from high carbon to low carbon. Yet the fact is, our carbon emissions for electricity generation are just the same as they ever were. Now, we have compiled a dossier, I'm the main author, an engineer and an accountant, on the insolvency of Irish wind farms, 47 pages, and it gives the account details obtained from the Company Record Office, and you get them from valavic@gmail.com, valamhic@gmail.com. Valavic is the Irish for Val, my son. Now, in that article, I've shown you there in the paper all about how these ESB and all these are investing in wind energy and all this big craze for wind energy and the government's craze for it. We see that there was another article in the paper last Friday. The Allied Irish Bank, which is one of their main lenders, which is lending to these like no tomorrow, in what I would call reckless lending. And this article mentions reckless lending. And it mentions Bank of Ireland too, but it mentions in particular the Allied Irish Bank in relation to reckless lending. And it's been downgraded to just one notch above junk status. Junk status is it's not a sensible investment. The share price of AIB is about 1.15 at the moment. It's very poor. It used to be 5. And people have their money in there, they're investing in there. It's about 75% owned by the state. And it's very, very close to being a zombie bank. Now add to that COVID-19, and some people say, well, we're all in this together. The whole world is affected by COVID-19 and we'll be able to sneak in and get a bit of money that'll tide us over. That's the big question. Will they? Can that be done? I've discovered a complete lack of regulation. Right? So Moody's, Fitch's, Standard & Poor rating agencies are not aware of the pathetic quality of regulation on companies and their accounts in Ireland. And I have found some companies with nothing written on their balance sheet or profit and loss account, and they're perfectly accepted. I've complained, and the regulator told me, unless there's a crime, I won't get involved, and that's not what it says. So there's no regulation. We're paying that man for nothing. We're repeating the same up in the 2008 crisis. And let me tell you, the 2008 crisis was global, and we came out bad out of it. And this is global. The idea that it's global and we get away with messing around, I think, is mad. So why is all this happening? And there is only one reason, and it's dealt with in the video. We can't accept our mortality. We can't accept that we don't rule the world. We can't accept that there isn't a way to propagate our species and our lifestyle till we dominate the planet, till there's nothing left on the planet. These wind farms are killing the birds around here and the bats that used to inhabit here. They're driving away nesting birds. I know they're gone. I missed them this year. We can't accept this. We're prepared to take away the habitat of primates, our nearest relatives in nature, just to satisfy this religious craze, and we're incapable of thinking logically. My role and Michael Moore's role is close enough. I'm not convinced that we have to cut back population that much, but it's something which should be looked at, particularly with very large families. But our role is that there is a rump, possibly 35% of the world's population who believe this gibberish, the same as they believe all the religions of the world. They all cannot be right. If there's only one God, they all can't be right. I won't go into that. And so if we apply the logic of that, they're saying this works. And there's a rump of people, I estimate roughly 30 to 40%, who believe all this crap about renewable energy. And what we have to do is to get the ones who don't necessarily believe it, or who are open to question it, to be more vocal. If it's a thing there's maybe 60% of the people who believe this stuff, then we got to get that down to 45%. We got to change it down. And it's happening in countries, and it's happening across Europe, where people begin to realise that this is not the road. So Michael Moore's film, for all its good and bad points, or whatever they are, clearly hits the nail on the head. We are deluding ourselves, and we're destroying the environment in the process. And it's only when you smell this, you realise the lovely things that exist in nature. And this is why I campaign and stick my neck up on this. I'm available to debate this with anyone on any forum, and so are hundreds of people throughout Ireland. Some great engineers. They've been told this several times, the state has. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. But at least if we and you and I know what they're at and realise how this fakery is continuing and this fraudulent attack on the environment in the name of the environment, if we can convince them of that, then good. Michael Moore's documentary is on 5.4 million views in about 8 days. Fair play to him. And hopefully now we'll get that up, and please try and get other people to sit down and look at that 100-minute, 1 hour and 40 minutes documentary. So bye with that, from real true education, not fake news. Give me an old like there, and you can promote me channel. And I had a few new subscribers, and thank you very much for coming in. Notice I never name names here. You're quite once you communicate with me, I will never name you on this unless we have your consent. So thank you very much, and we'll let you go at that. Bye now. Bye.